kindergartners, welcome back to Maths with Miss Hulsart. Today we are going to be working on measuring ourselves. So you're going to need something that's not too big and not too small, but that you have a lot of. Miss Hulsart used playing cards. You might have cards like Miss Hulsart. You might have cars like that you can race with. You might have dolls, not big ones like Barbies, but maybe little ones like LOLs. You might have Legos. Whatever it is, I want you to think, because after I'm done teaching math, you're going to need to go find them so that you can practice your measuring. But first, we're going to start with a story problem. Let's check it out. Now, friends, today to start math, we are going to make up our own story problem. And it's going to be for this number sentence. Now take a look. Your turn to read the number sentence. Get ready. Yeah, 6 minus 2 equals. Well, I'm going to start by showing the beginning. And in fact, let's see. Looks like we might have a 10 frame. Oh, nice. I love a good 10 frame. Uh-oh. So we have a 10 frame and we're working on 6 minus 2 equals. So first I'm going to start with 6 counters in my 10 frame. And I know a 10 frame has 5 on top and 5 on the bottom. So I'm going to fill up the top, and I know 5 plus 1 more equals 6. Now I don't want to write my number sentence about 10 frames. What should my story be about? I had 6 what? Let's pick a person. Let's say Sam had 6, a delicious treat. What do you think? Cookies. Yeah, let's do cookies. Sam had 6 cookies. Now 6 minus 2, friends. Am I going to put on 2 more or take 2 away? That's right, I want to take 2 away, and when I'm working with a 10 frame, I start from the bottom. 1, 2. So Sam had 6 cookies. She gave 2 of them to her mom. What's my question? How many cookies does Sam have left? And friends, what's the answer to that question? How many cookies does Sam have left? 4. Nice work, kindergartners. All right, now I'm going to put another number sentence. This time, I want you to think about if you can make your own story just like I did. This is going to be your number sentence. Your turn to read the number sentence. Get ready. Yeah, 2 plus 4 equals. I want you to pause the video and think of a story problem you can make for 2 plus 4. And then I will see you for our measuring activity. Measuring. So here's how this is going to work, and you're going to have to get a little bit creative because you probably don't have counting cubes at home. The job is to measure ourselves. Now this is an outline of a person, and it's going to be your job to measure yourself, not this person, but your own body, any of these parts that you want to measure. So you could measure your arm from your shoulder down to your wrist. You could measure from your underarm all the way down to your waist, or even all the way down to your leg. You could try and measure your foot. Uh-oh, there we go. You could measure your foot from front to back. You could measure, let's see, what else do you think you could measure? You could measure your hand, good. Or you could measure from the tip of your finger all the way up to your shoulder. You could choose to measure just your leg and not from the shoulder down. So you could choose to measure just like that. You could even lay down on the floor, have somebody help you, and measure all the way from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet. You're going to measure lots of different things. Now, in class, we would measure with cubes, but you don't have cubes at home. So it's going to be up to you to decide what to measure with. I only ask that you write what you're measuring with so that your teacher knows. So, you saw I clicked the T. I'm going to click to make it nice and big. And Miss Holzer has a lot of playing cards at home, so I'm going to say cards. I measured with cards. And then I can go through and measure. Now, once I measure, I just have to write how many cards it was. So from my shoulder all the way down to my wrist, it was 7 cards. And from the back of my foot to the front of my foot, it was only 3. From my underarm all the way to my ankle, it took 13 cards. That's much longer, you'll see. I could even say from my hand, however I want. And then I could say I measured all the way, all of me measured, let's say 20. Oh, that's messy. Let me work on that. Let's make that nice and neat. So if I laid down and measured from the top of my head all the way to my toes, then I could say it was 21. So you can do this. You can show me. You can draw lines like Miss Holzart did. So you're showing me. You want to write the numbers next to those lines so I see what you measured. You can pick. If you don't have cards, that's okay. You could measure with Legos. You could measure with toy cars. You could measure with probably not dolls, unless you have small dolls, like LOL dolls, because we want things that are a little bit smaller. Not too small, but things that are a little bit smaller to help you practice measuring with bigger numbers. So it's up to you. You're going to write up top what you measure with, and then you're going to put your measurements on the picture. Remember, when you're done, you're going to press the check mark to turn that work into your teacher. Now, friends, the other things you have to do today. First, a video about measuring with cubes. This is especially important because we can't practice it in person, so we're going to practice it on the computer. If I click my arrow, again, if I press the play button, it will read it to me. They're talking about cube towers. Now this one says drag an object into the workspace. You have a pencil, a sticker, a band-aid, a paperclip, and a fire truck toy. Make a cube train as long as your object. Count how many cubes you used. So, if I use the band-aid, down here are my blue cubes. I can click and drag. And remember, when we measure, we go from one end to the other. We don't leave any spaces. So usually, if we had cubes, they would link together. So we wouldn't see this top part. We want to make sure they link together. And then you write your answer. So Ms. Holzart just measured the band-aid, and it is 3 cubes. Then I would press the check mark. Now, if you just write 3 and I don't see your cubes, I'm going to question, did you do this by yourself? Because I want to see your good measuring. Now, the last thing you have to do is about shorter than and longer than. Again, press the play button and you can listen. Same thing. And then here, choose a cube train. You've got the red one, the yellow one, or the green one. You get to pick Find an object that is longer. Find an object that is shorter. So make sure you're going to want to line them up. Put the shorter one on top and the longer one on the bottom with your cube train in the middle. I'll say it again. Put the shorter one on top and the longer one on the bottom. Very good. Make sure the ends line up so that we can see how it looks. Then you're going to press the check mark to turn your work into your teacher. Our objective for today says that students will be able to develop strategies for accurately counting and keeping track of larger quantities. That means bigger numbers. We're going to count with bigger and bigger numbers. That's why we practice all of that counting. Now, the blue, you know, is your criteria for success. How do you know you're on the right track for math? 1. I measured by lining up my objects without any spaces. We know if we leave spaces when we're measuring that our measurement is not accurate. I measured from end to end. So if I'm doing my foot, I don't start in the middle. I start at the heel and I measure all the way to my toe. And then I recorded my measurements on the body chart, just like Miss Hulsart already showed you. Good luck, kindergartners. Have fun.